Hey, next trauma response up used to be one of my toxic traits. I guess it can be considered a trauma response, but to me, it's more of a trauma strategy. The trauma response FAWN, it develops in childhood as a way to cope with neglect, abuse, and unpredictable caregivers. The trauma response FAWN is people pleasing. Us people pleasers, we learn at a very young age that pleasing over asserting our own needs is what we need to do to not receive any more abuse, and also it's what we need to do to receive the love, care, and attention we need as children. As adults, the FAWN response can be triggered by situations that are overwhelming or threatening, especially situations that resemble our childhood environment. What we will do as adults in these situations is revert back to that learned behavior to try to mitigate the perceived threat. The trauma response of FAWN and people pleasing go hand in hand. People pleasing can be considered a behavior of the trauma response FAWN, and other behaviors include things such as always saying yes, taking on way more than you can handle, or doing things regardless to how big or what it does to you to ensure that others are not upset or disappointed. Lack of boundaries, the inability to express one's needs, over accommodating, suppressing what we want to make others happy in fear that we might lose them or hurt them. People pleasing can be toxic. Chronic people pleasing will have you losing yourself. Constantly focusing on others will have you disconnected from your own needs and how you feel. Underneath chronic accommodating behavior is deep-seated resentment. Chronic accommodation of others, chronic caregiving, chronic suppression of self will lead to chronic stress, anxiety, and depression. I was a caregiver for a year and a half, but I have been people pleasing chronically for everybody in my life for over 40 years. You saw my hair and you see how small I am. It will take me forever to gain this weight back if I ever do. The first step is awareness and being aware of the behavior. People pleasing, the trauma response FAWN, I know that well. So I'll be dropping a lot more content on people pleasing and what that looks like and how damaging it can be to you and to others, believe it or not. So I hope you guys have a good evening, and I will drop the fuck it trauma response in the morning. Have a good night.